Talk About It Media 21. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone for being here. I hope you're having a great day. I am. I've gotten a lot of stuff done. I am. I love to get stuff done, taken care of. Allow me a few seconds to get into my system to set everything up. But like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Subscribe to the page. We're trying to hit 50K. So please subscribe to the. Let me get in here. Hold on one second. I hope everyone's doing well. A lot of news going on. We're going to do hot topics, trending topics along with the news. So we'll cover this and then we'll get to the hot topics. So come on in, like the video. All comments are alleged, period. Please hit the like button, period. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is used permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Okay. So as I say it, it types there, then that way it can go up. So like the video as you guys come in. Subscribe to the page. We're going to get straight into the videos, everyone. Yes, we are. We're going to get straight into the videos. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Okay.
Moment unfolded today in the nation's capital. It was a clarion call for transparency from the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and it was set against Donald Trump and the Trump administration, whose efforts at providing clarity in the Epstein case have been disingenuous at best. Flanked by members of Congress in what is a shockingly rare bipartisan display of consensus these days, survivors gathered on Capitol Hill this morning and called for the release of the Epstein files. They spoke one after the other. Here's a bit from their accounts.
I met Ghislaine when I was a senior in college. I was just 21 years old. Maxwell introduced me to Jeffrey Epstein later on that day. That evening was the sliding glass doors moment that changed the trajectory of my entire life. I was once bright, fun, outgoing, and kind. I loved people, and people genuinely enjoyed being around me. But after meeting Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, it felt like someone shut off the lights to my soul.
Ghislaine, it was your butler that greeted me at the front door of your beautiful home, and it was your calm, manipulative, and fraudulent demeanor that cultivated my trust. That coercive system that you have mastered was entirely end-game oriented, and that end game was to feed the perversion of you and Jeffrey through sexual violence. They spoke today. It was part of a public push to have all of the Epstein materials and files released. The petition that would make that happen, that would trigger a vote in Congress on the bill releasing the Epstein files, at this point just needs the support of 2 more Republicans. Here's what the survivors had to say about that.
It's time for us to see beyond the curtain. Why was Jeffrey Epstein so protected? Who is still being protected? So I ask you, President Trump and members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? And to be clear, the only motive for opposing this bill would be to conceal wrongdoing. You have a choice. Stand with the truth, or with the lies that have protected predators for decades.
Donald Trump and his administration have made that choice. The White House says that supporting the bill that would trigger the release of the Epstein files would be viewed by them as, quote, a very hostile act to the Trump administration. And here's what Donald Trump said in the Oval Office about the Epstein case just moments after the survivors finished speaking.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having.
Okay. Now, the idea that the Epstein case is a hoax is something that Trump's own base of supporters, the most fervent ones, don't even believe. Neither do his most prominent allies. Laura Loomer puts it this way. would Ghislaine Maxwell be serving time in prison if it was all a hoax? Good point, Laura Limmer. Again, Donald Trump made those comments we just showed you minutes after survivor after survivor after survivor of sexual violence came out and publicly told her story about how Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell recruited them and manipulated them and exploited them and sexually abused them. Many of them talking about how they are to this day still traumatized and grappling with and struggling to recover from that trauma. Here's what one of the survivors said about Donald Trump's baseless claims of all of this being a hoax just moments before he spoke.
The president has said that this Epstein issue is a hoax. It's a word that he used. Can you get your reactions to what you think when you hear him say that?
I'll answer that. Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
What does it feel like emotionally?
It's being gutted from the inside out. Not that I would know what that feels like, but I imagine it's the anxiety buildup with the depression and the survival mode, and then your nervous system goes limp and ironically is shot. And it feels like you just want to explode inside because nobody, again, is understanding that this is a real situation.
Donald Trump finding himself today on the other side of the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, including at least one registered Republican, as they push to release all of the Epstein material. That's where we start today. Tara Palmieri is here. She writes the Red Letter on Substack and has hosted two acclaimed podcast series on this topic called Broken, Jeffrey Epstein and Power, the Maxwells. Also joining us is my friend and colleague, MSNBC senior political analyst, Alex Wagner's back. And back with me at the table for the hour, investigative journalist, host, and co-producer of the podcast, Chasing Ghislaine, Vicki Ward is back with us. What did you think?
I thought it was so powerful, Nicole, and so not political. I have to say, for me, the biggest headline was the first speaker, Anushka DeGiorgio, for two reasons. One, I watched her testify under a pseudonym, Kate, at Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal trial. And to my knowledge, this is the first time that she has now come forward and sort of identified herself as one of the four key witnesses at that trial. The other thing about Anushka DeGiorgio is she knows Donald Trump very well. I've reported this. It was reported many years ago that she met him through Ghislaine Maxwell, and they spent a weekend at Mar-a-Lago. So the fact that at the end of her remarks, she talked directly to President Trump and said, "You have the power. Please use it in the correct way." That was very meaningful.
Tara, what did you learn today, or what did you see platformed that brings what this should all be about for everybody into focus, and that's centering all of our conversations as you do around the victims themselves?
I have to agree with Vicki that it really didn't feel political. I felt more a story about humanity, and hearing these women when President Trump called it a hoax, and they responded saying, "We're people. We're human beings right here. We're not a hoax. You can come here and see us for yourself. I will talk to you." One of the victims addressed the president directly. "President Donald J. Trump, come here. I'm a human being. You know, I'm not a hoax." And I think as that was happening, there was this incredible moment. You'd have to be there to really feel it, but there was a flyover of these military planes just going over the victims as they were speaking, and they had to stop because it was so loud. And this was a flyover that the president arranged at the same time as the president of Poland is visiting him. And it was almost like a symbolism of silencing the victims in their moment right there while they're not even inside the Capitol where they should be on the House floor testifying.
I told you those planes were flying over. We heard them today. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21.
And telling their truth, because they haven't been invited to do that. No, they're standing on the grass outside of the House of where some of the most powerful people in the world sit that can decide their fate and the fate of so many other hundreds and hundreds of victims that just want the truth out there. There was just such an imbalance in so many ways, and it reminded you a lot about the fact that this is a class story about the elites versus the people without power and the struggle. You saw the struggle play out outside on the lawn, and with the men inside, you know, some women as well in these meetings deciding, "We know what's best for you, little lady. We're protecting the innocent." Who are the innocent?
Like the video, fair use.
Julie Cirkin, NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter, and the Bulwark senior reporter Will Summer. All right, so Julie, how much pressure is there on Republicans right now?
Well, there is an immense amount of pressure, not only because they kept hearing from constituents back home, who certainly members of their base, contrary to what the president said is a Democrat hoax. Republicans want to know this information too, because as we've covered extensively, this was a box that was reopened, a can of worms that was reopened by the Trump campaign itself, leading up to this last election. And so this is an issue that is not going away on Capitol Hill anytime soon. You'll forgive me in advance as I'm looking over my shoulder, just in case the speaker strolls by me as the House just started voting here a couple of minutes ago. But what he told my colleague Kyle Stewart, literally minutes before I came to talk to you, Katie, is he once again praised the victims and survivors for coming forward. He said it is not an easy thing to do, but he also, as he's been saying consistently, criticized the discharge petition itself, saying there are not adequate protections for victims who do not wish to be identified. Johnson saying 10 spoke out today and did so bravely, but there are 1,000, in his words, that might not want to be identified. Even though Massey and Khanna have numerously told me, they've said publicly, that there are protections crafted in their discharge petition to prevent any of these victims' names from coming out who do not wish to be identified. Critically, Katie, what I did hear from this press conference this morning is that these women, these survivors, they're done waiting. They don't trust the government. They don't think there will be transparency at the end of this. So they are hoping that at least 2 Republicans join those other 4 who have signed on to this petition in forcing the administration's hand here. They said that they are getting together to put together their own list. One of them, Lisa Phillips, said, we know the names. We know who did this to us. And they said confidentially they're going to put together this list, although unclear if they're going to list it to the public. But ultimately they said this isn't our job. It's on the DOJ and on Congress.
So there is this argument from Donald Trump, even from people on the right. Donald Trump's calling it a hoax, but he's also saying, Tom, that DOJ is releasing information. They're giving it to the House. They did that interview with Maxwell. Is this information that is new?
No, most of it is our court filings that we've reviewed several times, and not dozens of times. There's the files that were provided by public information request from the Palm Beach County State's Attorney's Office in Florida. So that information has been out there. Those were the original investigative files, along with the Palm Beach Police Department. So those are contained within there. It's all the public filings in the Maxwell case, which are voluminous. And there are a number of filings from the Epstein case as well. A lot of those things, members of Congress talked about redactions today. By the way, those redactions are court ordered, so that's nothing that Congress is going to get around. That's a judicial branch function. So the challenge here going forward is the limited new information that we have are redacted documents that show flights and trips that Jeffrey Epstein took with a number of other individuals leading up to 2019. That includes international travel, because that would have obviously involved Customs and Border Protection. But the names of those on the flights, not just the pilot or the captain, members of the crew, those are redacted, but additional males and females, those names are redacted as well. So there's nothing on there that provides any new information as far as who Epstein was traveling with. People got initially excited because there was some financial information that was all made public as part of the Epstein bail application when he was first arrested. So really, there's more that's there for the Justice Department to turn over more information would really start to cross some red lines for them, because in the past they've been reticent to provide case files to Congress. They're incomplete. FBI 302s are summaries of an interview. I mean, you and I could write up a one-page summary of this show, but we wouldn't capture all the nuance, all the detail, and everything that went into it. And that's what those documents are. There's other documents in there that name, there could be a sheet that says we got a tip call saying that Katie Tur and Tom Winter are involved in a public corruption scheme in New York City. That doesn't mean it's true. It just means that they got a tip call. But can you imagine how the internet in 2025, September, would react to somebody who would get a tip on that?
This is why you don't play with conspiracy theories.
It does. And so to back it up to the reason why we're talking about this today, the victims on Capitol Hill, the emotion there was so raw still, and they talked about on several occasions, every single time this comes up in the news, all of these stories that have no basis in truth, every time they hear it on the radio or listen to a podcast on the way to drop their kids off at school, it's what parents are talking about at schools as they're dropping off their kids. They cannot get out of this, even if they want to, because they're inundated with story after story after story. And then today, the internet erupted again. There is a list. The victims are talking about a list. No, what the victims are talking about is a list of individuals potentially who they think could have known about this activity that was occurring, or that could have been involved in Epstein's world in facilitating this for Epstein. There's also another subset of that where, according to one of the plaintiff's attorneys, Brad Edwards, there are some women that once they turned of age, over the age of 18, that they then were either sexually contacted, abused, or were given to on behalf of Epstein, which is kind of a perverted phrase, but given to these wealthy men that were friends of Epstein. That's a separate group, and presumably a much smaller one based on our reporting. So all of this is now out there, and the victims are now part of what has become a broad kind of a conspiracy talk about this case.
One of the knots is that it's hard for people to believe, certainly hard for those survivors to believe, that this was something that was just being...
Oh, thank you. Kind face of it. She probably has a warm personality. And you do.
So you did ballroom dancing. I that's so amazing. I love to dance.
Oh, do you? Okay, well, that's a huge commonality.
Yeah. So we have that in common.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Like the video.
To believe, certainly hard for those survivors to believe, that this was something that was just being perpetrated and planned by two people. It was just Ghislaine Maxwell, and it was just Jeffrey Epstein. Just the two of them were able to inflict this much damage on so many women for so long. That's what's making this hard to understand for a lot of folks. If that's they just can't believe that that is the case, and they believe they're going to find more information in some files that are locked away in a closet at DOJ.
Right, and I think that it's important to go back to our reporting, which is separate and apart from what the DOJ and FBI put out in an unsigned, undated memo earlier this summer, which is that if there's not even enough information to open a case on an uncharged third party at this point. I think some of the women victims are speaking about those who worked for Jeffrey Epstein at a point. How could they not know based on the fact that I'm a 14, 15, 16-year-old girl and I'm being requested and scheduled to go to Jeffrey Epstein's apartment? Like, isn't that weird? Wouldn't that stick out to somebody? Shouldn't somebody have said something? Aren't there enough people that know about it? To that end, on the victims front, some of that has come out in testimony at trial. Some of it didn't, because obviously it has to be tailored towards the person who's charged. In that case, Ghislaine Maxwell. Could there be more information in these files on that? It appears so, for certain. So, yes, there are some additional avenues. Certainly the idea of the FinCEN in the SARs that were generated by Epstein, some of the questions that Congress has previously raised about that. I'd love to get access to those. Those would be the types of things.
The sweetheart deal that Epstein got.
So there's this like almost 400-page report by the Office of Professional Responsibility for the Department of Justice, which is kind of like the internal affairs of DOJ and prosecutors. They talked to Alex Acosta, who was, of course, the former Trump labor secretary, the U.S. attorney in Florida at the time. They talked to all the prosecutors that were involved. They reviewed their emails. They reviewed their schedules. And they issued a detailed report, which we've done our own reporting on and have put out there. So that information is there. Ultimately, unless somebody comes forward and says there was a quid pro quo deal here, there was some transaction that took place we don't know about, the phone lines are open for that. If that's the case, I think that's something that needs to be looked into. But so far, investigators that have looked at it haven't seen any evidence of that to date.
All right. So, Will, Tom and I just went through a lot of the naughtier parts of this. I wonder, there was so much buzz about Epstein just a few months ago before the summer recess. I know Speaker Johnson, certainly, the White House might have hoped that the summer would cool things off, get this story to die down. Donald Trump has certainly done a lot since then to if not overtly distract, then to distract from the Epstein files. Has it done so? What's the word on the MAGA street?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can see here how much narrative power Donald Trump has over his base and the right-wing media. As you said, when the DOJ initially closed this case this summer, there was a lot of outrage on the right saying, you know what, we want to find out what's in the files. But I think as it's become clear that perhaps there's something embarrassing about Trump in the files, or that just basically that he doesn't want it to get out, he's calling it a hoax, we're seeing a lot more of a blackout in right-wing media. Fox News barely mentioned it last night in prime time. Although at the same time, online, I'm seeing a lot still demand from the grassroots to see these files. I think the question of where the story goes for the right really depends on whether Thomas Massie can get enough Republicans to join him in this vote, or whether they're just going to go with Donald Trump's claims that it's a hoax.
That is a very good point. There's polling out there that suggests that the public broadly does not trust the president on this. I'll put it up on the screen. So 67% disapprove of Trump's handling of the Epstein files. 73% disapprove, or say the DOJ has not been transparent. This is a Quinnipiac poll. It's a pretty well-respected polling company. Those numbers are high, Will.
Yeah, I think no matter what happens here, whether this, obviously Republicans want to make this look like this is some Democratic witch hunt. I think whatever happens here in terms of how hardcore Trump supporters view it, I think this is something that still affects independent voters, that affects maybe lean Republican voters. It's a lot to swallow. I mean, and I think it kind of depresses some Republicans as well. This is something they were told was a really, really big deal, and suddenly they're being told, get over it. And so that's something that maybe that makes them have more doubts about Trump.
Political analyst and Democratic strategist Cornell Belcher and former Republican Congressman of Pennsylvania, Charlie Dent.
Cornell, you know how you know?
I don't know where he's going.
Excited for it, though.
This is a load of crock. How's that? Because if the good Governor Landry had such a problem in New Orleans or Shreveport, what the hell have you been doing all this time as governor? Right.
Is the National Guard under his purview?
And the National Guard is under his purview. So why do you need Donald Trump to come into your state to get the National Guard to deal with your crime problem? And if that's the case, then why the hell are you governor? Because you haven't done the job. You've allowed this to fester under your watch. And you're so incompetent at this point that you need the help of the President of the United States to validate your incompetency. So I don't understand. Help me understand what I'm missing. Because as a former lieutenant governor of a state, I know damn well that if it's happening on my watch in Baltimore or Prince George's County, Anne Arundel County, that's on us. And if we're calling the president to come in, Did we really mess some stuff up?
Yeah. Well, I think you're on to something, but I don't think it's about crime, right? If you,
No, it's not about crime.
I don't think it's about crime. Newsflash, I don't think it's about crime. Look, if you look at, this is classic politics, right? If you look at the Wall Street Journal poll that was out just yesterday. Wall Street Journal, not necessarily a bastion of liberalism, right? Their poll finds stunning economic angst happening in this country, where more and more Americans are thinking the American dream is moving away from them. They think the economy is growing worse, not necessarily better, and they're thinking that the leaders in Washington actually aren't perhaps up for the job, right? So the economic angst is growing. People are really concerned about the economy. And this was someone who was supposed to fix the economy overnight. So the economy is going wrong. Let me change the subject.
Right.
Let me go back to what is tried and true in this country since this country was founded, and let's pull out boogeymen to scare people and change the subject, because and nothing works more effectively as a boogeyman than the specter of black crime in urban America.
Well, this is very true.
And in his case, black crime with the companion of immigration.
With the companion of immigration. And I mean, I think that's the point for me, Charlie. One, we have long said at this table that Donald Trump is going to start by targeting black mayors in Democratic states that have Democratic governors, but it's not going to stop there. Like, the mayor of Shreveport, Louisiana is actually a Republican. At one point, he was a Democrat, but like a different mayor, right? So it's switched back and forth. But I do think that Donald Trump is kind of treating the National Guard as like his own police force, and you couple that with what they have done with ICE, injecting billions of dollars into their budget. HSI, the vests that people see here in Washington, D.C., that they saw in Louisiana, that they saw in L.A., that they may see in Louisiana, that they're probably going to see in Chicago, those HSI vests, that's Homeland Security investigations, coupled with some ICE people. Who do they really work for, and what do they really do? So I do think that this is a pretext for his authoritarian overreach, because I really just think this is all about the election. Because what Cornell's saying about the economy is right. People are very unhappy, but maybe I have it wrong.
Well, the politics of this is all scrambled. I've never met a mayor. I represented an urban area as a Republican, city of Allentown, Bethlehem, and every mayor I run, they wanted federal support for law enforcement. They didn't want the National Guard to come in, but they wanted the cops grants funded. I was a minority of House Republicans who support the cops grants. Many of my Republican colleagues were wanting to cut the cops grants, and because the Republican argument at the time by many was law enforcement is a state and local function, not a federal function. But the truth is, mayors around the country for years, and some governors, have wanted more federal support for good reason.
Yeah, they want the money.
Yeah, I mean, even in D.C., okay, where arguably the president has some authority to deploy the Guard, the mayor's been a little bit more muted here because carjackings are down. Maybe we're going to learn something. But I don't know. This is a totally. I'm concerned about posse comitatus out in L.A. I mean, deploying the Marines. Well, I can see why a judge found that to be unlawful. It's a violation of posse comitatus. So we're in a really strange place. But as Michael pointed out, most mayors are not going to want to, or governors are going to want to deploy the Guard because they're going to acknowledge that maybe they haven't been able to manage things on their own.
Right.
These mayors, they don't want to admit failure. But we have a crime problem in a lot of places.
But also, the Guard, though, the Guard's not trained to do crime prevention, and they're not police.
Create a voiceover.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Guard, though, the Guard's not trained to do crime prevention, and they're not police.
Today, multiple outlets are reporting that Donald Trump is attempting to tip the scales of New York City's mayoral election by offering some of the candidates jobs in the administration in order to help Andrew Cuomo defeat Zohran Mamdani. Ever since the 33-year-old Mamdani won the Democratic primary in June, the Fox News viewer, who is our president, has been taking a special interest in the New York City race.
If a communist gets elected to run New York, it can never be the same, but we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. You have a lot of crooked things going on in New York. We're going to straighten out New York. Maybe we're going to have to straighten it out from Washington.
Now, the New York Times is reporting that advisors of Trump are trying to induce the current incumbent mayor, Eric Adams, to leave the race by dangling an administration job for him. Quote, the talks have also involved finding a possible place in the administration for the Republican candidate, Curtis Sliwa. Citing 3 people with knowledge of the discussions, the Times reports the goal would be to give former Governor Andrew Cuomo a better chance of defeating Mamdani in November's general election. Political reports Adams has been offered a position at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, according to a person with direct knowledge of the offer, and that the mayor met with the president's team during his visit this Monday to Florida. Spokesperson for the Eric Adams campaign said Mayor Adams has not met with Donald Trump. He is not dropping out of the race. But it would not be the first time Trump has used Adams to influence New York City politics, of course. You'll remember, shortly after taking office, Trump's Department of Justice dropped corruption charges against the mayor in exchange for Trump-favored immigration policies and cooperation from the mayor for them. That move prompted the resignation of over half a dozen prosecutors in both Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office and Main Justice, including the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District.
Now, to respond to all this news on a very busy day is the Democratic candidate for New York City Mayor, Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani. It's good to have you here. Nice to meet you in person for the first time.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, what do you think about all this?
I think it's outrageous. And I think oftentimes in a race such as this, it's tempting to think of this solely in the question of how does this impact the race? But this is an affront to our city's democracy. This is an affront to the values that make so many of us proud to be Americans, that we can choose our own leaders, not that our leaders pick themselves or their friends. And we're seeing in this time when Donald Trump has taken snap from hungry New Yorkers, has passed legislation that would throw millions of New Yorkers off their health insurance, that we have Democrats in Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams working with this administration to try and subvert the will of Democratic primary voters right here in New York City.
Is there a Democratic argument that there's some problem with this split field of four candidates that ends up with a person being the mayor of the city with 40% of the vote? Like, is there, because we have, we had the ranked choice voting in the primary, which I think is an important thing. You've now got this very weird situation where the next mayor might win 35, 40% of the vote. And there's a question about what that would mean for that mayor's representative ability in the city.
Yeah, I don't think any of those questions are motivating Donald Trump.
That's fair.
Thinking about the actions that they take. And I think that if this was just a question of, am I going to face three candidates or one candidate, I wouldn't have concerns. I'm just as confident of beating Andrew Cuomo today as I was yesterday. My concern, however, is what these so-called leaders are willing to give up in the name of securing power. That is why so many New Yorkers are turned off by our politics, because they see no relevance of their struggles in the conversations that are taking place.
There's reporting over the summer that there's a phone call between Donald Trump and Andrew Cuomo, previously undisclosed, reported by the Times August 6th, that Trump spoke about the race directly with Cuomo, an old associate in Foyle. According to three people briefed on the call, we're not authorized to discuss it. Andrew Cuomo denies that they talked about the race. I mean, is your read on this situation that Trump is pulling for Cuomo?
Absolutely. And I think Trump is making that very clear, that this is his choice for mayor of New York City. It's Andrew Cuomo. And he's willing to use every single tool and tactic at his disposal to try and assist Andrew Cuomo in that same pursuit. And what we're seeing right now is to offer and consider positions for two candidates in this race to try and make this one-on-one. It shows just how threatened he is by what our administration would be, which is a fulfillment of the thing that he ran on but has since betrayed, which is a promise of a more affordable life for Americans.
For people that are watching this that consider themselves, Democrats are sort of in the big tent, right? And say they're in the big anti-Trump coalition, okay? They've known Andrew Cuomo as a known quantity for a long time. And there's a feeling right now as they watch sort of Governor Pritzker in Illinois and Governor Newsom and, mayors in Chicago and DC and Baltimore deal with this sort of Godzilla-like figure, right? Who's sort of wreaking havoc all over the places. That we need someone who's strong, who's experienced, who can go toe-to-toe, who maybe is kind of a tough guy. And this Zohran Mamdani seems like a nice guy. He seems charming. He's 33 years old. Like, do I think that's the guy that can go toe-to-toe with the threat that is Donald Trump, as opposed to Andrew Cuomo, who's really been around the block?
Let's take the example of California. When Donald Trump deployed the National Guard to California, one of the key ways in which they responded was working together with the mayor of LA, the governor of California, the attorney general, all coming together to file a lawsuit that a judge just yesterday found that deployment was illegal. Can you imagine Andrew Cuomo working with the attorney general of the state, whose endorsement I'm proud to have, Tish James, the governor, Kathy Hochul, to work together to fight Donald Trump when he's spoken to Donald Trump more than he's spoken to Kathy Hochul over the course of this race? This is a man who believes in nothing other than his own power, and he spent so much of the primary saying he was best positioned to fight Donald Trump. He's now spending the general saying he's best positioned to work with Donald Trump. And New Yorkers want a mayor who is accountable to them, not to someone in the White House who is looking to rip up the very fabric of the city.
Being New York mayor, to me, strikes me as probably the hardest job in American politics after president. I mean, I really feel like, it's basically your job for everyone to hate you.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There's about 360 something in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Please hit the subscribe button and continue to hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to 100. Thank you.
Essentially, you know that, right? Like, no one's gonna be like, hey, buddy, like, everyone's kind of pissed off all the time because it's New York City, right? Like, life is tough. Like, things are crowded, things are expensive. Like, there's a lot of reasons for that. But then on top of that, right? So it's a hard enough job in normal times. But I mean, as we're watching him threatening to send in the National Guard to Illinois, no respect for like the law as it stands. Like, you can't bound yourself within some confines of like, well, he won't do that because it's illegal. Like, how are you thinking about preparing for the job itself in terms of having this threat looming over?
You have to prepare for the inevitability of Donald Trump to continue being Donald Trump. We cannot, as you've said, rely on any notion of the law or what is appropriate for how he will determine his course of actions. And I look at California as an example, such that we are ready here in New York City on January 1st with a plan of partnership across city and state government to be ready, whether it's for the deployment of the National Guard or it's for his attempt to pass legislation like the one he just did, which will take an axe to so much of what keeps so many New Yorkers afloat. And I think we've seen what New York City can gain if we have a mayor who is willing to collaborate with Donald Trump, which is not that much at all. We've had money directly taken out of bank accounts. We've had a 6-year-old public school student from Jackson Heights being deported. This is what we have when you want to work with Donald Trump. We've seen what it looks like to manage Donald Trump, which is what we see in Andrew Cuomo. We need someone who's actually willing to fight Donald Trump. And we've seen examples of that right here in New York with Kathy Hochul. We've seen examples of that in California. It's time to have that in City Hall.
You have not yet received an endorsement from Hakeem Jeffries, who, of course, the highest-ranking member of Congress and a member of the New York delegation. I know you've met 4 times. Kathy Hochul has not officially endorsed yet, if I'm not mistaken. You would have to work with both those individuals quite closely. Are you confident that should you win, those are going to be solid relationships?
Absolutely. And so many of the conversations we've had have been about the importance of partnership, because New Yorkers have grown tired at the ways in which Albany and City Hall were at war when Andrew Cuomo was leading the state. They want leaders who understand that they have the same constituents in New York City and they have to serve those constituents. And one thing I've appreciated through all of these conversations is the question of how do we deliver affordability to the residents of the most expensive city in the United States of America.
One of the people who was in that sort of battle, standoff with Andrew Cuomo when he was governor as mayor was Bill de Blasio. We covered that. I watched it as a New Yorker. Today, Bill de Blasio endorsed you for mayor. So that's someone who's had some experience on both sides of that. Assemblyman Zoran Mondani, the Democratic candidate for mayor in New York. Great to have you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Like the video, as you guys come in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There's about 199 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Hold on one second.
Was not struck in self-defense.
We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time, and we just these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela, so we took it out.
The president later posted a video of that strike to social media. Trump said he had ordered, quote, a kinetic strike against positively identified Tren de Aragua narco-terrorists. He added that 11 people on the boat were killed. Trump claimed the boat was transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. Now, here's a map of where the United States is. That small boat was attacked off the coast of Venezuela, which is over 1,000 nautical miles away from here. The United States was obviously well out of range of that boat. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, on the other hand, defended the strike by saying the vessel's destination was probably Trinidad or another country in the Caribbean, which, of course, makes more sense on the map. I mean, Trinidad's only 10 miles from Venezuela by sea. But again, that too is more than 1,000 miles from the U.S. mainland. Who knows where the drugs, if they were there? We're going to go next. This morning, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was doing a victory lap, promising more military strikes on narco traffickers, narco terrorists. But now, as we learn more details of the attack, I have to say, this is an enormous scandal that is unfolding right in front of us. This civilian, non-military boat, even if they were committing a crime, was not in self-defense. No weapons were evident. Whoever struck it, and the U.S. has shared no details of that, didn't try to disable the engines or to board the craft. They just summarily killed everybody on board. As a Notre Dame law professor told the Washington Post, the strike violated international law. The U.S. is not in armed conflict with Venezuela or its criminal elements. This is exactly the kind of operation that, if it existed in a Tom Clancy novel or movie, would be getting covered up because the principals in the film would know it was illegal. I mean, it certainly seems like extrajudicial murder to me. And again, that's the case even if everything the administration is saying is true. But why would anyone assume that what they say is true? These are the very same people that falsely claimed a man with an autism awareness tattoo and a makeup stylist and a soccer player and a singer were dangerous members of the same Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang when they grabbed them off the street and shipped them to the Salvadoran gulag. Now, in those cases, Trump's government tried to be the judge and the jury, and now they are ex-executioner too. Whatever pretext this administration may claim, this looks, for all the world, like a just flagrant violation of domestic U.S. law and international law. And there needs to be answers to how and why this happened. And I'll talk to Senator Chris Van Hollen about that next.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Next clip, fair use reaction clip.
Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir? So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now, nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein, whatever. I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from two people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
Trump says that the Epstein files are a hoax that never ends. So right off the bat, I got to ask, was it a hoax when Trump fanned the flames back when it was politically convenient on the campaign trail?
Bill Clinton. Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool.
Are you looking to
Like the
establish
video,
your
like the
business
video.
using an address other than your home?
Fair use reaction clip. Like the videos, you guys come in.
Wish you had a
Tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So
Nobody ever heard of Bill Clinton on a predator island before Donald Trump brought it up, or Prince Andrew. And it's commendable because Donald Trump was right. Bill Clinton did go to that island. There's tons of evidence of that, including but not limited to the
Allegedly.
victim testimony.
Still got to protect my page. Allegedly, I can't confirm or deny. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Of course, Prince Andrew paying 10 million plus pound sums in order to silence victims. I mean, Trump was telling us before anybody knew about this.
Or was it a hoax when Trump's cabinet members were fanning the flames to build their brands?
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism. Is the way that but we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. So when Trump and Vance and Bongino and Patel and Bondi and Haba and Don Jr. needed something to pedal to the rubes in their base, they were all over the Epstein scandal then, but now that they're in power, now that the Epstein list is, quote, on Pam Bondi's desk, suddenly their hands are tied? Or is it that the file doesn't exist? Or is it that it does exist, but it was a forgery by Obama and Biden and Clapper and Comey? Or is it that we shouldn't even think about the Epstein list because Hillary's emails is a bigger scandal? Or maybe we should just arrest Barack Obama and Beyonce and Oprah? Or maybe announce that we're building a nuclear reactor on the moon? And if you think I'm lying about any of those, I'm not, including Trump sending former reality TV star and current Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy to start the process of building a nuclear reactor on the moon. The guy can't manage to keep planes in the sky right here on Earth, but sure, couldn't think of a better person to dive headfirst into interplanetary energy. What could possibly go wrong? But distractions aside, what Trump is trying to do is clear. He is throwing literally every distraction he can think of at everyone because he is just that desperate not to discuss the objective fact that this is very much the reality of the situation. He is very much implicated in the Epstein files. And that's not conjecture. Pam Bondi literally informed him months ago that his name was in there. That is why he's not releasing these files. That is why he's trying to point us in every direction. That is why Trump sent Todd Blanche, his deputy attorney general and former criminal defense attorney in a personal capacity, to a prison in Florida to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell, the only person alive who could incriminate Trump. And her reward for that meeting was a move from a high security prison in Florida to a minimum security prison in Texas. Trump promised his supporters transparency on Epstein. The guy is quite literally working hand in hand with Epstein's sex trafficking accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. He's not offering accountability. He is entrenching the very system that he swore to expose. Trump goes on in the initial clip to say that they've already handed over thousands of documents. And that would sound good to someone who doesn't know that virtually all of the files that have been released thus far by the DOJ in response to an oversight committee subpoena were already released before, a point that even Republicans are conceding.
Democrats on your committee say 97% of the Epstein-related documents from the U.S. Justice Department released to the American people last night were already public. What do you say to that?
Well, the 3% that weren't public, that's 3% more than Joe Biden released when he was president. Look, President Trump is complying with our subpoena, with my subpoena. He's turning over documents. We posted 34,000 last night. We expect to get more documents. As soon as we get those documents and review to make sure none of the victims' names are listed, who don't want their names listed, then we're going to put those online as well. And we're going going to seek justice for the survivors. And I think that's what the objective of this investigation should be. It's to find out, not only the names of who some of the people were that abused the girls, but also to hold many of these criminals accountable. And that's what the victims who we met with yesterday asked us to do.
See, guess we should just be happy with the crumbs. Trump promises accountability and instead buries us in paper that we've already seen, along with a few pages that tell us nothing of substance, and the Republicans do a victory lap. And finally, you'll notice how Trump says that we shouldn't talk about Epstein because we should talk about Donald Trump's successes instead. And the irony of that is that Trump has promised his supporters the world, but wholly and completely failed to deliver. He ran an entire campaign filled with fake populist promises. He promised an infrastructure law that never materialized, a healthcare plan that was cheaper and more comprehensive that never materialized, a middle-class tax cut that never materialized, a jobs boom that never materialized, a manufacturing renaissance that never materialized. In this term, he did the same thing, promising reduced costs and cheaper groceries and lower rents and justice when it comes to Epstein's victims and accountability for his criminal associates, but he's not delivering on any of those things. The only thing that he's actually done in both terms is give a tax cut to himself. I don't know how to make this any clearer. He does not give a shit about you. He never did. He just says things that people want to hear, but he never delivers. His entire presidency is a graveyard of broken promises. He didn't end the Russia-Ukraine war. He didn't lower prices on day one. He didn't bring down the cost of eggs. He didn't bring down inflation. He didn't release the Epstein files. He didn't usher in a manufacturing renaissance. And guess what? He won't, because those are just things he said to get your votes. And now that he got them, he doesn't need you anymore. It's about him. Now it's about his legacy. Now it's about his tax cut for himself. Now it's about his headlines. Trump's cover-up of the Epstein files isn't only a depraved act of the friend of a sex trafficker and pedophile. It is a slap in the face to every Trump voter who the guy conned for their votes, thinking that he would be different, when in fact, he is exactly the kind of person he promised to expose.
Like the video, like the video. Like the video as you guys come in. Is it a distraction? Is there concerns? What's going to happen in the next few months? Now that allegedly the victims are speaking up and speaking out with attorneys, what's going to transpire? Like the videos you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. You guys, let's get the likes up. Can I get 50 people to double tap that screen to get the likes up? Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Let's get 50 people to hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Thank you. We got to get the likes up. It keeps me in the algorithm. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Said everybody taken care of, perfect for women.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. At the end of this month, the government, or Congress, has to pass a budget. Do you think we can avoid a government shutdown?
Yeah, I do. I think the Republicans will vote for an extension. We won't have any Democrat votes. We could give the greatest budget ever. Tax cut of 50%, everybody taken care of, perfect for women, perfect for men, perfect for minorities, perfect for everything, and we wouldn't get one vote for the Democrats because they've lost their mind. They are so deranged. They have Trump derangement syndrome, and I don't want to burn the Republican Party with it, but they really are. They've become almost sick. They actually think there is a disease. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. They've got it. No matter what we did, no matter how good, you could give them everything that they've ever dreamed of, and you wouldn't get one vote. These are sick people, and I think we're going to have a tremendous midterm. We just approved the largest tax decrease in the history of our country. We have things, if you think of it, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security for our seniors, no tax on overtime, deductions when you buy a car and you borrow money to buy a car. First time they've ever seen anything like this. Middle-income people get deductions. You get a deduction when you buy a car. Nobody's ever seen. And by the way, they're selling cars like crazy. Cars are pouring back because of the fact that we have tariffs. Cars are pouring back into our car plants are pouring back into our nation. They're coming from all over the world. They're coming back. We lost about 54% of automobile manufacturing over a 30-year period, 35-year period. They're all coming back. I think they're coming back higher than ever before. We have AI going up. What we've done is amazing, and what we passed is amazing. But the Democrats, I don't believe, will get one vote. It's very anti-crime. We want anti-crime. They're in favor of crime. We're against crime. They gave us things like men playing in women's sports, open borders for everybody, transgender for everybody. I mean, they want a transgender for all of the crazy things that they were saying. And, people say there are 80-20 issues. I say there were 97-3. I would say 97-3. Nobody knows who the three are. This is the best issue of all. They are against preventing crime. They are fighting us. I want to go into Chicago, and I have this incompetent governor that doesn't want us. Do you know that this weekend 72 people were shot in Chicago? I'm embarrassed to say it in front of the president of Poland. 11 people were killed. 72 people were shot. Last week, 7 people were killed in Chicago. A place which is probably your number one place. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I love the Bulls.
And we got to keep it safe. But 7 people were killed. The week before that, 5 people were killed, and 21 people were shot. This is in 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, I lost almost 35 people were killed. It could have been stopped. If you look at Washington, D.C., 3 weeks ago, it was the same or worse. And now it's considered a totally safe zone. Restaurants are open. They're bustling. Restaurants, you have to see, restaurants were dying. Nobody wanted to go out. They didn't want to be attacked. They didn't want to be mugged. They didn't want to be attacked even in the restaurant. And you take a look at what happened. Friends of mine that haven't gone to a restaurant in 4 years, one of them went out 5 times in the last 2 weeks to a restaurant with his family. They feel totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a totally safe city. You're not reporting any crime because there is none. They said crime is down 87%, and I said, no, it's not. It's down 100%. We have a great thing going. I could do that with Chicago. We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago, or do we go to a place like New Orleans, where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite tough, quite bad. So we're going to be going to maybe Louisiana, and you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks, easier than D.C. But we could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us to go into Chicago if we don't have the support of some of these politicians. But I'll tell you who is supporting us, the people of Chicago. And I sort of want them to let it be known they have incompetent people. A guy like Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of a state that if we didn't go into Los Angeles with our soldiers, with our National Guard, you wouldn't even be having the Olympics there. They were going to take it. And remember this, your top law enforcement officer in Los Angeles said, there's no way we could have done this without President Trump coming in with the troops. We saved Los Angeles and we saved the Olympics. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. President, in regards to Gavin Newsom, would you be open to a congressional investigation in regards to the specific housing fire where killed 12 seniors to see if there's any negligence on Gavin Newsom or Karen Bass in regards to those deaths?
Well, I'll tell you, there's negligence on not getting people permits. That is negligent. We got all of the federal permits. Lee Zeldin, the federal permits are much more difficult. They were all gotten within 30 days. People could go build the houses. It's going to be years before they are allowed to build the house. And Karen Bass is grossly incompetent. And Newsom, this is a very incompetent guy. I watched him with the hands. I'm saying, what's going on with the hands? There's something wrong with him. You watch him. There's something wrong with this guy. But more importantly, he didn't allow the water to come from the Pacific Northwest. You know, they have tremendous amounts of water in California. People don't know. They send the water out to the Pacific Ocean. So I demanded it be open. If that were open during the fire, before the fire, you wouldn't have had the fire because all the sprinklers would have worked in the houses. They had no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants. You wouldn't have had the fires. It would have been put out after one house, 2 houses. But he stopped the water from coming in. And I had to send in the military to have that water open after the fires. And now they have water, but he should have more because they've restricted. They still restrict it. There's something wrong with these people. There's something really wrong. As to investigation, I view it as a gross incompetence. I view it as an ideology that's wrong. It's a radical left ideology. And if I didn't win this election, I think our country would be destroyed. I don't believe you'd be here right now, and our country would be destroyed. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. What are the most important branches of interest between Poland and U.S. Europe?
Well, it's just the relationship we have. I think there's a great trust and a great, more than most countries, more than almost any countries. We have some in a category that's very special, and Poland is in that category. We have a very special relationship. It's like the question about the soldiers that was asked. We never even thought in terms of removing soldiers from Poland. We do think about it with regard to other countries, but we would never know. We're with Poland all the way, and we will help Poland protect itself.
I would like to add something. Of course, security is most important also for our relation. And I'm a historian, as you know, maybe, Mr. President. I'm a historian, and this is the first time in Polish history, in 20th century and the 21st century, that the Poles are happy that we have foreign soldiers in Poland. So the American soldiers are the part of our society nowadays. We have almost 10,000 soldiers, and this is the signal to all world and also to the Russian Federation that we are together. But we are not like the Poland free riders in Europe and in NATO. Mr. President Trump knows it because our GDP for military service achieved 4.7. So we are probably the one NATO nation which is on this level, and we will not stop. Me, as the President of Poland, we are going to achieve 5% of GDP for military service, but with American soldiers on Polish soil, we solidified and we are secure.
Just about that. Poland was one of two nations that paid more than they were supposed to with NATO. I don't know if anyone knows that, but there were two nations, and Poland paid more than they were supposed to. They thought it was low. And by the way, since then, at my request, they've raised it from 2% to 5%. But Poland was one of two nations that paid more than they were supposed to, which was a very nice thing.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, you guys. Please hit the subscribe button to support the channel. Please hit the subscribe button. Let's get the likes to 100. Can I please get 100 people to double tap that screen to hit the like? Double tap the screen, please, to hit the like. Or hit the thumbs up above the video or below the video. Let's get the likes up and thank you. Let's continue with the next clip. Fair use reaction clip.
From today was to let everyone know how hard that was for all of us today. To speak up when we shouldn't have had to. I was a minor. I was 14 years old when these acts happened against me and my survivor sisters, a lot of us. And the fact that we had to stand in front of Congress today and speak our truth was such a powerful thing, but also in the same sense was something that we should have never had to have done. If the government would have done their job in the beginning of this, none of us would have had to come forward and put our face to this. And I don't think it's fair that in order for us to get attention to this case, that my 14-year-old self has to put myself publicly at 37 years old out.
And I so agree with you, General Lisa, and I'm sorry that you've had to go through what you've had to go through this week, and it is unthinkable what you went through at age 14. You're not the only one who met Jeffrey Epstein at age 14, and as you know so much about this evidence against him. How long were you involved with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell?
I was involved with them long enough for them to do the damage. And I think that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how many times you went, if you went multiple times, if you were involved for years or not. The damage was done the first time the abuse started.
Generally, so what are you finding when you share your stories with other survivors? How has that been for you? Has that been a positive experience?
It's like a double knife sword, right? Like it's empowering and strength in numbers, and to feel like that you're not alone, especially when you have for so long kept this a secret because you thought you were the only one or the few of some. But then having that, being surrounded, especially this time around, being surrounded with all of the survivors, I think it really spoke volumes for all of us to be there and united front for this and show our support for each other, because I don't think anyone else could ever understand what we went through except for ourselves.
As we all know, there are the count goes into possibly the thousands, above 1,000 Epstein survivors out there, and so we're hearing from a very small group of those survivors. You've been both. You've been a silent survivor for a number of years, and now you are a publicly speaking survivor. Tell us about those two different conditions, those two different choices. The choice to be silent, what's that like for the women you think who are out there silent tonight, who are watching you, possibly hundreds of them watching you right now, who went through what you went through, but have remained silent and have remained private about it. What do you think their experience is like, and what is the experience like when you make that decision to change and become one of the speaking survivors?
I think being quiet and not saying anything is our own way how we protect ourselves. A lot of us didn't know that this was such a wide variety, and then once you get the scope of the whole situation that was at play, I think we hold a lot of guilt to that, and I think that silences us a lot, because how do you heal from that, right? But then when you find your voice to get out there and speak, it's intense. You are putting your life on the line, is what I feel like. When you are speaking out and speaking your truth, which I shouldn't have to do because I was 14, but when we were speaking our truth is like, it's so intense and I can't describe it. It's like an out-of-body feeling. I'm there. I know it's my story and my truth, but you almost feel like you're detached from your body. And I think that's where therapy and all the mental health stuff comes into play, because it's a lot to come forward. It is a lot. I had a Congress member tell me today, like,
we have a hard time speaking out. So for all of you guys to sit out there and speak your truth in front of millions and millions of people that are watching across the country speaks volumes to the strength that you guys have. And I feel so weak at times. So I don't know how people see me as powerful. And I know that like speaking my truth is powerful. It's just hard and it's emotionally draining. And when I go home, I'm going to be feeling this for a very long time.
Jenna Lisa, I can tell you that for me, I'm just in awe of what you were able to do today and what the other women with you were able to do today. And I can completely understand the thousands silent women out there too, what their choice is. I completely get it. I don't see any easy choice to make here in either direction, but to be able to do what you did out there with that microphone, with those people, with all of that attention on live television nationally was really an extraordinary thing to watch for you and the others who you were joined by. And I can tell you that you are believed. You mentioned that in your comments today about what it's like to believe you won't be believed. Can you feel that there are people like us out here now who do fully believe you?
In 2018, when I came out, it was like a circus. And he had already been in trouble for so many years, so the fact that it was a circus. This is the first time ever speaking out like publicly that I feel supported. And I feel supported from all sides, from everywhere. I have had so much amazing feedback today of people reaching out to me and telling me your voice mattered. I was not strong enough to speak for myself, and you were setting the pathway for other victims to come forward. And for me, that was also healing for me. That was healing for me today, because as victims and survivors, we feel crazy sometimes for how we feel about these circumstances. And so to have people supporting us, and I mean supporting us to the T, was absolutely beyond my wildest dreams that we would have this much support this time.
I have to ask you about someone who wasn't supportive today, and that is Donald Trump in the Oval Office calling what was happening in your discussion the Epstein hoax. He repeatedly called it a Democratic hoax, even though you were accompanied by Republican members of the House as you were standing there. How do you feel about that when you heard that word applied to what was happening there?
So I'm going to go off of my survivor sister, Haley Robertson, and I voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he was saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are out there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that scares me. Who is it?
One of the questions that was repeatedly asked by some of the women today was, who was protecting Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for all those years so that they could get away with that? And that seems to be something that many of you have been wondering about. Tell us about that. Tell us about your feelings about that.
The government has been protecting Jeffrey Epstein from the beginning. We can go back as far as he had people calling him out in the 90s. We can call it out when his case brought up in Palm Beach and he got prosecuted. They brought it up to a federal level. Alex Acosta decided that he would bring it back down to a state level and only charge him for 2 women. I can sit here and wholeheartedly tell you they never fully investigated that case at that time. They never truly went into how deep the spiral of twists and turns of who was connected and how they were connected. And we were minors, we were children. I had girls today reach out to me from Royal Palm Beach High School, Palm Beach Central, Wellington High School, telling me I could never have spoken up and you were speaking up for all of us, and it happened. We saw it. And even if they weren't involved, they knew it was going on or had been asked by friend members to participate in that and chose not to, and thank God they did it.
Donald Trump has been known to watch this program. He watches a lot of cable news. He could be watching right now. what would you say to him about the Epstein files? He's in complete control of releasing the Epstein files. They could be released in their entirety tomorrow if Donald Trump simply told the Justice Department to do it. What would you say to him about it right now?
You have daughters. You know what it is like to raise children and to be a parent. Outside of all this hoopla that you're the president.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There's about 146 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Also, continue to hit the like. We should already be at 100 likes. Double tap the screen, please. YouTube makes it easy. Please double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Thank you.
Or you're Donald J. Trump and you have your Trump stuff. You know what it is to be a parent. You know that. Could you imagine if that was your daughter that was trafficked to people? Could you imagine your 14-year-old daughter having to go through what we had to go through? And then you sit here and say what you said? You should be supporting us. You should be backing us. And if you have any doubt of your mind, our lawyers are ready to speak. We have spoken to FBI. We have just spoken to every law enforcement agency that we could possibly have been asked to speak to. We have been traced down to corroborate our stories, and this is not a joke. We spoke our truth, and you are telling us pretty much that we're lying. I put my hope in you when I voted for you for our country, and you can't even back us when we need you the most. And we need to heal. We're not healing.
Like the video, fair use, reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Why do you think he's not supporting? What's really going on? Is he supporting his friends, allege? People that could possibly be named, allege? Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
In this situation, what are your hopes beyond tonight and beyond this week, beyond this issue of the Epstein files?
I hope we truly get transparency through all of this. I hope you listen to us. I hope they decide to release what they need to release, and so we can put this to rest. It is not fair to the rest of us, to the survivors, to sit here and have to endure this media frenzy and this craziness. It's re-traumatizing. It's re-victimizing us every time. And it's not fair to us. We are going on decades of dealing with this. And the government has failed us in every aspect of it. So how do we come from that? We need to heal. We're trying to heal, but we're not healed, and we can't heal until you guys give us what we need, and we need answers. We need something. This can't keep going on. It's truly not fair to all of us.
General Lisa, I don't want you to feel constrained just by my questions here and responding to those.
Yeah.
So before we go, I just want to give you an opportunity to add anything else that you feel you might want to say tonight.
I just want to thank everyone that is supporting us and listening to us and backing us up. Even if that means that you're turning on Trump in the Republican sense to be able to sign this bill, because that sounded what it was to me, like, don't sign it. I hope you guys hear us and see us as your children, as your loved ones, your brothers, your sisters, and you fight for us, because this isn't fair. We have lost so many survivors already from mental health and having to deal with this and never getting the peace and the justice that we deserve. And we lost it when he died. We lost it when they failed us in the government. Like, come on. Like, when is it our time to just, like, be? Just be humans. Like, we're kind of like aliens.
General Lisa, I can imagine how strange these feelings are, and how you might feel like some sort of laboratory study that we're all doing, zooming in on you. But you've really brought your humanity here tonight to us, and I think we can see you and see who you are. And we really appreciate your joining this discussion tonight.
I really appreciate you having me and to listen to my voice so I could speak for all my survivor sisters.
General Lisa, I'm very sorry that these are the circumstances that you're joining us tonight. I'm sorry for what you've gone through, but we greatly appreciate your voice tonight, and it has been very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell.
Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. I appreciate everyone for being here. Don't forget, can I get 50 people to please hit that subscribe button? 50 people to please hit that subscribe button. Thank you. There's about 87 in the building. Let's continue.
the actual victims so that we might hear about Epstein's crimes and what should be done from people who tragically experienced them, rather than so many other people we've heard from. And this comes after the Trump DOJ did systematically cut all of these people out of the recent changes and developments related to the case and hid key information from them. And so right off top, I want to tell you that makes today an unusual shift in this long-running story, where so often the spotlight has been on the pundits and the podcasters and the politicos and some conspiracy theorists talking on and on and on about the Epstein case, about the victims, about their supposed concern, even as, and you see our very deliberate contrast here on the screen, even as the Trump administration cuts these same people out instead of including them and hearing them and their view, the victim's view of what should be done in the quest for supposed transparency. I'm joined by civil rights attorney Nancy Erica Smith. She's represented victims of sexual harassment and workplace harassment, and Michelle Goldberg, New York Times columnist and MSNBC analyst. Both have followed this case extensively. You were there today. What did you see, and how is this different from what I mentioned, which is a lot of people talking? And now,
like the video, like the video. Like the video. I might come back to this. We might go to hot topics, trending topics, right? Like the video as you guys come in. Let's go to some hot topics, trending topics for a moment. Let me see. Like the video as you guys come in. Right now, Kim Kardashian's being called out. Does she have some beef with the school? What made her call out that kids should not be doing homework? All of us as grown high school kids, they're doing homework. What you learn in the classroom is what you go home and see if you retained it. So that way, when you're ready for test day, and think about it, when kids get into college, sometimes those college professors don't care. It's all about homework. It's all about reading the syllabus. It's all about reading the books they give you, that some of the information seems like it's not even there. Some of it's there, but yeah. So what are they going to do if they try to go to college? So is Kim complaining about the homework because she has 4 kids to do homework with? Sometimes a parent having 1 child to do homework with is a lot. So is Kim frustrated with doing homework with 4 kids? There's that. The Diddy stuff, I might have to do a different video on Diddy. There's different things that's going on. The judge had requested information from each attorneys to give him case study about similar cases in regards to Diddy. I think Diddy wants this pretty much thrown out. He feels that how he was charged, he feels that he's falsely charged. So I'll get to the Diddy stuff another time. Cardi B is making an announcement for people to purchase. She's silly. Okay, so I already told y'all that this was one of my favorite groups on Netflix, Building the Band. Great group. They can all sing. They're just not singers. They are singers. The girl that's sitting down, both the women, they can sing. The men, Goosebumps, baby. Go look it up. Season 4. Go look it up. They are an amazing group. Great singers. Let's continue. Okay, Paul Logan, not getting into it. We just talked Donald Trump. Let's continue. Okay, so Cardi B is speaking up and speaking out, basically saying Cardi B on her public situation with Mr. Diggs. It's tough hiding it. I will show you the next picture, but Cardi's behind is sticking up with her tattoos. So I guess, is she saying they still together? Because it sounds like she's saying they still together. It's tough hiding. So are they still together? I thought they broke up. Go back in. Like I said, Diddy wants his case to be acquitted. He's basically saying they gave him the wrong definition. Did the jury do a good job in regards to their decision that was made? If there wasn't a holiday that was up and coming, do you think the juries would have rushed? Should they have said, no, we're going to go past the holiday, and maybe 2 weeks after Do you think the holidays should have been a situation? They probably was over it. Some of the stuff was so repetitive, they might have been over it. They should have been over with making a decision not around the holiday. I don't think it was good. No one's heard from the jurors really. Will they speak up, speak out after he's sentenced? We'll see. But yeah, Diddy's team is still continuing to try and get him out, or basically they're fussing that the charges that he has does not correlate with him. Krishan Rock and Junior, it's his birthday, so she's celebrating the birthday. We just talked Trump. Okay, so we're going to get into this. Real talk. Kai Cenat is being called out for having Kim there. Kai Cenat is being called out for having Kim there. Why are grown adults trying to go on Kai Cenat page because they want to push their narratives? When you look at some of the people that go on there, some are extremely famous, still doing well, but then you also have people that are attention seeking. There's young adults that watch Kai Cenat. These celebrities want to push their narratives continuously. Kim getting on there talking about kids shouldn't have to do homework. We get it. We get the part that they're in school for 8 hours. We get that. And it should be limited homework, but they should have homework. Kim might be having beef with some of the teachers at the school, maybe about how much homework her kids are getting. Because why would you go on a stream talking about homework? I'm not even going to play the message because what she's saying, I'm not selling. She wants to distract away from the North situation. Is Kim, let me know in the comments. We all have an opinion. Is Kim using North to trend and go viral constantly? What would she have done for the last 3 years if she didn't have North on TikTok? The Ice Spice situation concerning the Pete Davis, North sitting on Pete Davis' lap concerning the other child smaller than North in the back seat, buckled up but still in the back seat. Many people are calling Kim out in regards to she still supports Balenciaga. Are the Kardashians role models? Are the Kardashians utilizing North to trend and go viral? That's a big question. Many people ask, are they role models? Are they utilizing North to trend and go viral? So this is the biggest thing. Many people have saw at least a few times a year, she puts North in a situation where North is in media. Should Kim stop putting her children in the media? This is her son right here in the pink hair. This is young adults watching this. Why are old, mature adults going on a young man's stream to put out their narrative? Kai Cenat need to be careful. We said, okay, Kevin Hart's over there questionable. We said it. Now Kim's over there questionable. We're not even going to get into Ray J. Ray J got into his bathroom. Kai Cenat was in the shower. Ray J's playing his music. He said he wanted to go over there. Ray J going over there concerning. Ray J going over there concerning. And then did y'all hear Ray J basically saying he's the next diddler concerning? These celebrities need to take a back seat and stop pushing their narrative to these young kids. That's who's watching Kai Cenat's stream. Adults, 20s, 30s. But these older celebrities still want to stay relevant, be relevant, and push their narratives. What kind of speech can she give? Yes, she has made millions. Can the Kardashians stay off media for 6 months, 8 months, a year? Kim decided, and we get it, people are calling her out for North wearing a corset. And we know Kim likes to be very, very slim. Here she is in a skirt, high split around these young men. High split. Yes, she has on stockings, but high split, cleavage. And then did you see the outfit last week where it focused on her bottom part? The Kardashians continue to be called out. Kylie dated Tyga at what age? Will Kim continue to do this to North? People are calling her out and people are calling Kanye out because Kanye and how Bianca dressed is very concerning. Now you see Kim doing similar outfits as Bianca. Yes, I saw that. I saw that yesterday. Now Kim is doing very similar outfits like Bianca. So many people are calling, are they good role models? Yes or no? Are they constantly pushing it out a narrative? Yes or no? Mariah Carey did go on there. That seemed like a pretty decent stream. But having Ray J on there and Ray J stating he's the next diddler, concerning. Kim going out talking about a narrative, concerning. And talking about kids shouldn't do. And then the table incident. Did y'all see what grown woman should be allowing and watching young men with a helmet and you're using those things hitting? You shouldn't be hitting anybody. And then the table being thrown at Kai Cenat. So concerning. Kai needs to be careful. Kai needs to be careful. If these older adults are going on his stream to seek media attention, clicks, and views, and to stay relevant, he needs to be careful. They're going on there for a reason. He needs to be careful because some of these celebrities are putting themselves in bad situations. They're not being called great people, allegedly, or great parents, allegedly. And Kai Cenat needs to be careful because he could lose people as he's connecting to other people for these streams. So there's that. If you want to listen to what she said, go ahead. But she can't inspire too many people because people keep calling her out. And allegedly, she continues to support Balenciaga, allegedly. Allegedly, somebody said North was carrying a Balenciaga bag, allegedly. But here nor there. Here she is with a high skirt trying to talk to these young men, and they're behind her. If you go back and watch the picture from TMZ, she has on a similar outfit of something Bianca would have wore. Okay, so these are some of the looks in regards to 16 Beyonce boldest looks. Hold on. Okay, so there's B. Interesting. I remember that. One of the Kardashians tried to wear that same outfit. I think it was Kylie. Okay. Okay. Beyonce's gotten lighter over the years. Y'all notice that? Everybody remembers that. Okay. Everybody remembers that too. Everybody remembers that too. Everybody remembers that too. Her thank you speech.
Genius.
Everybody remembers that. Her and Jay on date night. Everybody remembers that too. And then didn't Khloe? That's another thing. Khloe tried to recreate this. Why are the Kardashians always trying to follow B? Why not with their own ideas? Go look it up. Khloe Kardashian trying to recreate Beyonce's look. Kylie tried to recreate Beyonce's look. Okay. She looks great. But you look at her now, she's so light skinned. Everybody remembers that one, baby. Yeah, I think that was either last year or the year before. Okay, B. So there's that. So these are Beyonce's, some of her looks over the years. Let me know which one is your favorite. Just put it in the comments. Which one is your favorite look from Beyonce? Yeah, this is the one that Kylie tried to recreate. I think it was that one. Yeah, everybody remembers all the looks. Okay, was there anything else I wanted to cover? We talked about this yesterday too.
Where a window is open to the residence upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof.
And they're saying it might be somebody that was doing the construction. RIP, they're stating that Roller Ray has passed away. RIP. Okay, was there anything else?
I'm happy. I like him. I love him. I never really been a dating person.
Right.
I've always been in long relationships since I was like 21.
So she says she like him, she love him. Many faces of Cardi B in a court case. Is there anything else? That's Krishan Rock. I'm not certain if this is a stream. You know, Krishan like to curse, so I'm not even gonna hit the button. Krishan Rock refuses to answer how old her son Junior is turning. Oh, she don't want to answer. I can't recall what the age is either. But she is wishing him happy birthday. So happy birthday, Junior. Okay, so that's been removed. They removed it. This was one of the victims speaking out yesterday.
Survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
So that's something we talked about yesterday.
Her 12-year-old daughter, Northwest. And now people are even more madder at Kim Kardashian. After Northwest has 2 new piercings, people are now even more madder at Kim Kardashian. After now seeing that Northwest has a surface finger piercing. And I just found out what a surface finger piercing is, and this has to be the most painfulest piercing ever. And on top of all of the ear piercings you can see, in this photo you can clearly see the surface finger piercing, where not only are these super hard to maintain, as they are constantly hooking on clothing and getting infected. And even more sadder for Northwest, since North is being exposed to so many chemicals and products at such a young age, a lot of people are saying that it will cause long-term effects on North. North still walks with pigeon feet and knees that clang together. Now, a lot of people are saying that Kanye was right. And a lot of people are saying that she looks about 6 or 7 years older than her actual age of 12. And this is where it gets even more insaner. Last night, Kim Kardashian and Saint West went on Kai Cenat's stream, where Kai Cenat's bestest friend Rakai asked Kim Kardashian, how old is Northwest? Kim responded that she was 12 and her face was not happy. Is Kim a good mom?
And that was the other thing from the Kai Cenat. A man was asking how old North was. My goodness. And you should have saw her face. Kardashians need to stop putting that girl in media, period. Video. So that's season 4. Like I said, one of my favorite groups. We need to talk about that. So I don't know if this young lady is North security.
Number 1, Coca has to keep her identity under wraps.
I don't know who she is. They playing music and I can't play that. 4 hours ago, it's Beyonce's birthday too. Happy birthday, B. Maybe that's why they did her iconic looks. Happy birthday, Beyonce. But yeah, Kim's being called out in regards to the alleged piercing. I don't know what's going on with her hand. I don't know if she drew on her hand, or sometimes people will get that tattoo thing. But yeah, Kim needs to start putting North in the media. And people are talking about her. And Kim is not concerned about that. Kim knew what she was doing because Kim wanted to be put back into the algorithm. I did do this video yesterday or this morning. How the TikTok CEO makes about 20 million a year. And how the TikTok creator was making 25 million a year. Let's continue. YouTube CEO makes about 3 million, and this dude made about 90 million. How? And then this is Instagram, and then he could make up to 90 million on Instagram. Y'all, oh my goodness. But so yeah, it is B's birthday, so they're pretty much probably doing the same thing, her iconic looks. But I gotta be careful because you know B be shaking it, baby. Okay, everyone, we did our hot topics, trending topics. I thank everyone for being here. I thank everyone for supporting the channel. Like and hit the like button. Yes. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. There's about 110 in the building. If all 110 hit the subscribe button, it'll be a great day. Please hit the subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Can I get another 50 people to hit that subscribe button? And thank you. If all 50 hit the subscribe, we will hit our goal for today. So, copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. I hope everyone has a great Thursday. I am. I've actually got a lot done. I still have a lot to do, but I hope everyone has a great day. I appreciate you all for tuning in. There's about 90 people in the building. I hope all 90 people have hit subscribe, and thank you. Let's continue to get the likes up. Can I get 50 more people to hit that thumbs up? Above the video, below the video. Let's get the likes up. 50 more people to hit the thumbs up. Above the video, below the video. Or double tap the screen. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Please double tap the screen if you're watching from a phone. Let's get the likes up. Thank you. Let's get the likes up. Beyonce looks good though. She's kept her weight down. She's kept her weight down. She looks amazing. Let's get the likes up, everyone. Please double tap the screen. YouTube makes it easy. And to hit the like is free. There are memberships over there. Super chats are welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you all for being here. Yeah, Beyonce looks good. She looks lighter than that now, though. I would show more pictures, but you know Beyonce is shaking and moving. So she looks good. Look how thin she is in the silver. So, of course, she, with the children, she's gonna, yeah. Let's get the likes up, everyone. Thank you. Double tap the screen, thumbs up above the video, below the video. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. We went through a lot of topics. If you're just not coming in, we talked politics, what's going on around the world, what's being talked about. We do that today. And then we just did hot topics, trending topics. How do y'all feel about Ray J going to Kai Cenat? How do y'all feel about Kim Kardashian going over to Kai Cenat? Should these growner adults be going over there to let us know what their narrative is? Should it be remain for under 20, under 30? Let me know. Basically, should it be comedians to, make a funny situation? Everything that Kai does is a skit. That Ray J thing was out of control. The Kim and them throwing that table, out of control. Them hitting each other upside the head, out of control. I would show the picture, but I'm not trying to get flagged by YouTube. A lot of these celebrities are helping each other trend and go viral. I just saw something with Kai Cenat. One of the Wayans wanted to work with Kai Cenat. He said, yeah, if I can be in Scary Movie. So some of these celebrities, if you want me to pat your back, you got to pat my back too. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Kai Cenat. Good vibes, bad vibes about that. Why are these celebrities going over there trying to stay relevant? And we know younger children are watching those videos. That's what his audience is. 20, 25 and younger, maybe 30s. Grown adults are watching too, but he likes to do funny stuff to entertain. But I thank everyone for being here. I appreciate you all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Continue to get the likes up, everybody. Can I get 70 people to hit that subscribe button, and thank you. 70 people to hit that subscribe button, and thank you. Continue to hit the subscribe button before you go out. Thank you. All right, you guys, have a great day. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed. What are you guys having going on for the weekend? You have any big plans for the weekend? Let me know in the comments. Any big plans for the weekend? Let me know in the comments. Did you guys enjoy your Labor Day? Let me know in the comments. How was your Labor Day? Did everyone have a great Labor Day? I hope so. I hope everyone enjoyed their Labor Day. Did you take plates home? Did you have to cook? Were people taking plates from your home? What was some of the best dishes that you had? I would say something, but I'm not. The event we went to was pretty nice. I don't eat everywhere. I don't eat at everybody's house. I just can't. but we had a good time this weekend. So thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great day. Be blessed. If you did not see, it is being reported that it is Beyonce's birthday. So that's the picture that we're looking at. I would scroll. We did show pictures about 10 minutes ago, but I don't know if she's doing too much on some of the videos, so I can't show it. But have a great day, everyone. Be blessed. Goodbye.